Welcome, everybody, to the Daily Hi-Fi Podcast. We do this every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. My name is Shawna. With me, as always, we've got Aaron, Michael, and Joe. What is going on, fellas?
What's up?
What's happening, fellas?
What's up? Yeah.
Did you guys see me in the background, like feverishly eating my soup? It was like 10 seconds. I'm all looking at it. 6 seconds.
Awesome.
Shoveling it in, man.
Yeah.
Gotta make it happen.
Starving. I was here for like the past hour talking to Paul, Mr. Croissant. So if you're in the chat, Croissant, say what's up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Who else we've got? We got Bill, Russell, Randall, Junior OG. We got the Scruff King Man and Dan Black, and then Tim Perry should be in here, right?
Yeah. I think I saw him earlier.
Megatron's arm cannon.
Oh gosh. Megatron's arm cannon. That guy loves crappy subwoofers because he's a big fan of the big subwoofers.
Oh, look out. Well, shots fired
an
already.
ongoing
We're
war.
not even 10 minutes. We're not even 5 minutes into the show.
You know what? Bic should just come out with a beast sub. Like, just go all out. Then they could be like, see, we can make crazy subs.
They should.
Why not?
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
Why not? What's up? Shawna, Michael, Aaron, you guys have any new videos out? I do know. Shawna has a new video out and it's popping off.
Man, I was sick for the past couple days. I was wanting to film on Friday, and Saturday rolled around, still not feeling good. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to enjoy the weekend. So,
Okay.
Oh, nice.
so I'll be filming
No
tonight.
videos from you.
Yeah, I'll film tonight and get it edited probably tonight.
Okay.
Finish it up tomorrow morning. Get the thumbnail, title, tags,
All that good
description,
stuff.
all that fun stuff. And I'm gonna throw this out there, and you guys probably know this, but I went back and looked at some of my videos because normally I'm like, okay, let YouTube just do the ads wherever they want.
Mm.
Well, number one, on live streams, sometimes they don't put any, like none.
Like
They'll throw 'em
during?
They'll throw them like, if your live stream's an hour, it'll put it at 58 minutes. I'm like, one. I'm going, golly, man. So I went back and manually did some of those yesterday, and some of them they just put just really odd places, or they don't put them at all. And so I'm like, all right, so maybe I need to go through each one of my videos before I post them and figure out, okay, this would be a good place to put one and just because we tell it it can place one there doesn't mean it's going to. It just gives them an opportunity to place it there. But I'm like, that just seems kind of weird that some of them don't have any. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you guys usually strategically place your ads? Because
So
I talked to Brad and he said
I never have until last night. Last night I'm looking through and I'm going, this is weird. And I asked Brad about it.
Yeah.
And he said, oh yeah, I told you about that a long time ago, man.
Yeah,
I
he
do
says he does
every
it
one of my
manually.
videos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to do the whole like right now we're gonna get into the measurements.
But or
Right
I'll answer somebody's question and be like, Reverend Slim says da 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 da, and then throw
That's
an
a
ad
real
there.
interesting
The
question.
thing I like most about the Marantz AV10 is boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we know you guys are gonna skip them, and that's totally cool. I skip them too, but it's like, it's funny though that YouTube is just like apparently, and that was the reason why he does it.
Mm.
So I at least went back to like my biggest performing videos and made sure that those are good. Because honestly, I'm not going through 680 videos and going, okay, let me check every single one of them. But yeah, your live streams, I'd go back and look at the ads on our live streams and just see. You'll be like, oh dang, that's crazy.
I haven't even checked.
There's one ad. It's at 1 hour and 38 minutes.
Well, I pay for YouTube, so I don't see any ads.
No.
I would
But not
never
everybody
see
does.
it. I'd have to like log out and then I'd be able to tell.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah, me too.
but no, I'm not saying like play it. Like go into the back end,
Oh,
go
I
under monetization,
yeah.
and then there's a link that says mid-roll ads. And so if you click that, it'll show you every ad that potentially could play on that video. So it may be 2, maybe 1, maybe 3. So it's whatever YouTube deemed would be appropriate.
Got it.
But they mess it up big time on the live streams.
Got it. Aaron, you got some new videos coming out anytime soon? You got a new
Maybe.
space? Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Are
I'm
you
trying
feeling
to
in
set
the
up-
mood Whenever
I'm
you're
feeling
ready.
in the mood. Yeah, dude. I'm actually going to put the Klipsch. I've cleared out space. I'm going to put the Klipsch inside the house.
Okay, cool. Like
Yeah,
an extra
dude, it's
bedroom.
actually- it is literally taking up the dining room. The
Okay.
dining room is just big enough for me to put the Klipsch inside, and it's actually got a taller ceiling than the garage.
Dude, you don't need to eat.
Wow.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, don't have to eat. I can eat on the floor.
How loud is it when it's doing its testing? Does it have to be certain?
It can get pretty darn loud. Like I'll be doing testing during the day when I'm at work. I won't be doing it when I'm at home. At least like the majority, like the spinorama data.
Mhm.
I'll be doing that when I'm not here because it's way too loud.
How long does it take? Automatic.
It depends.
Generally.
It can take anywhere from, I'd say minimum would be like 3 hours for like a very small speaker, to as much as 12, depending, like if it's a very large, complex speaker. And then it can go more than that. But the biggest I've tested it, the longest it's taken me is about 12 hours because I needed like a long radius for it to go around.
Whoa.
And I needed a lot of measurement points. So
All
yeah,
right.
you can imagine like if you're right up on top of something and you need like 4 points, then you can be like 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you back further away and you want 4 points, then those points are spread out even further. So then you want more points. So you have like a better chance of getting higher accuracy. So then basically like you're just double or tripling or exponentially increasing the number of points that you measure the further away the microphone is from the speaker. And when I test very large speakers, I need the microphone to be further away. You know, like otherwise they can't spin around. It'll hit the speaker. So yeah, that's why I say it can take anywhere from 3 to like 12 hours for me personally. And then I know Magico has a Klipsch near field scanner that they tested the A9 on. And if anybody's curious, you can go and Google it. And I know it was on their Instagram page, but I think they might even have a clip on YouTube where they've shown that they like took a crane, like a hoist, and lowered their A9. It's a huge, huge speaker. I mean, don't tell them how much it weighs. Lowered it in on top of the Klipsch near field scanner, and then they have it running. And I think they said in there it took like 24 hours for all the measurements to complete.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I think my measurements take about like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Dude.
I do them quick, but so if you're wondering why my measurements aren't, super accurate, 10 minutes versus 12 hours.
Yeah.
And
when I used to do manual testing, like before I had the near field scanner, it would still take me a while. Bare minimum of 8 hours, like bare minimum of 8, because it was 140 different measurements. 70 on the ground and then 70 on like a platform, and I had to measure the speaker horizontally, like this way, and then vertically. So I'd have
because you're getting accurate
full spinorama
bass. You're getting accurate bass. You're doing ground plane before, right?
Yeah,
I'm not doing any of that. That's like, I'm like, the bass. It's gonna do whatever it's gonna do in your room. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Who cares, right?
Just ignore everything below 500.
That's exactly right, man.
10 minutes. But yeah, Shawna, your video is I assume it's doing well. Your AV10.
It's okay. I mean, it's whatever.
Let's see what's whatever's.
2,400. Yeah, it's all right.
Okay. Okay.
It's all right. I mean, like Zach hit me up and he sent me a text. He's like, "Dude, great job. That video is awesome." I was like, "Oh, hey, no problem, man." Because obviously he sent me the AV10, right?
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I'll send you a vertical for your Instagram and
like the reels,
TikTok. Yeah. So I cut the intro out, and then I added like Techno Dad, and I added a Dream Media logo, like in collaboration with whatever. But yeah, he's like, man, we're working on this big project. How long did that video take? I'm like, since the Marantz arrived, I've been shooting different parts of it and then editing different parts. Yeah. And then finally yesterday, Sunday, sat down and put it all together and shot the talking head part yesterday.
You even made a song for it, a new track.
Yeah. The intro that like orchestral score type deal. I made that for the song.
Nice.
That was actually what took longer because I was like, well, what am I gonna do for the edit, right? I'm like, let me try and make a song. And since I showed you guys that little software that I updated and whatever, dude, I got like strings in there, big old drums, and I did an unboxing in 7 seconds. It was fantastic, or less than that. Like, so Aaron, in the drum roll, I just did like all the pieces that are in the receiver. It was dope. I was just like, oh, because the unboxing, it's the most boring part of the damn video. Like, I already know what it is. It's Odyssey mic, it's a remote, it's batteries, it's literature, antennas, cable labels, and a rocket ship, cardboard rocket ship. Like, we already know.
Yeah.
And,
you know what? You know what I liked is when you showed all the different configurations real quick. Boom, 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 right after the other.
Yeah,
How
that
long
took
did
a
that
while
actually
too.
take?
That took a long time. Actually, you know what's funny? This little hydraulic desk thingy I got, it's perfect. I put this all the way up, and then I just videotaped this TV from here, and I was just like, oh, this thing is perfect.
So, Shawna, there's a question that came in about that, about the Amp 10. It says, how's the power consumption on only 500 watts on that Amp 10?
Oh, I don't have the Amp 10. I have the AV10.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You got AV10. My bad. That's right. That'd be just the amplifier.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
What's up with the 8 height channels? How does that work?
Somebody actually just commented saying that the manual says you can run 7.4.8, but I just tried it, and I tried the up mixers, and they're still just, you're capped at 6 with Dolby, and then whatever the 5 is.
So you can plug in 8 speakers. So what's the point?
Well, here's the thing. Amp 10. So you can plug in 17 speakers here, but the amp is only 16 speaker input. What the fuck is that about? Like I was kind of laughing about it with somebody else who commented, and he's like, that makes no sense at all. Yeah, no, it doesn't. You can plug in 17 speakers, but the amp that's a matching pair, 16 channels.
Yeah,
there you go. That makes it. Let's just why not? So what do you got to do? You got to put a little XLR splitter and just press a button like over by the thing.
So the whole point of the 8 channels though is for what? Like,
so you can plug them all in. So you can plug them all in
when it switches between the different formats, right?
Yeah.
For Oro 3D, for DTSX, for Dolby, and that way.
It's mainly just to go to Oro 3D to access the center height, which would be like something up there,
right?
And then the voice of God.
Right.
So you have it all connected and ready to go. So instead of doing 2 presets,
I see.
You can have preset 1, and then you just turn on Oro 3D, and then it'll send the signal.
Reroute it.
So there's on the back there's height 1, height 2, height 3, and then height 4. What happened?
Well, that's funny.
True voice of reason. He said it's like 8 buns and 10 dogs. What the heck is up with that?
Yes, exactly. I am just like Steve Martin. What are you doing? I'm removing the superfluous buns from the package.
Just throw them in the garbage, man. Nobody's gonna eat those. They'll be stale by the next time you eat the next batch of hot dogs. That's funny, man. I love it.
For 7,000 for the amp, they could have made it.
Yeah.
Integrate to have multiple inputs and auto map to multiple apps. So
7 Gs.
No.
And I saw a comment on your video that asked, could you hear a difference? Was there better separation? Is there anything magical happening? The pre-pro.
I had a $1,500 Pioneer in there before, using the same amplifier. Other than just me doing the manual calibration, I don't hear any difference. I only listen to like a little bit of Transformers, one of the action scenes, and then because I'm redoing my Zapidi and
you got some new hard drives?
It's getting heavy.
Oh my
it's getting
gosh.
heavy. I was on the phone with Paul for a while, and I was trying to get this up and running, but it's going to take a little bit longer than. But I did get these 2. These are on sale, by the way, you guys. 20 terabytes. They're on 45% off on Amazon.
Nice. It's getting kind of heavy.
So $300. So I got 2. I was planning on spending $600 on one drive. I ended up getting 2. I was like, 2. It's like I have one brow. I cut it in half. I have 2.
So you couldn't hear any difference?
No.
On this? Okay. All right.
I mean,
you feel different though? Do you feel like
I
Got a
feel like
$7,000 thing right here. You
I
feel like a
could
different
never
person?
afford something like this, and I think these are products for people that are creating a home theater that is up to that, like it's like a $200,000 home theater.
Mm-hmm.
You're making you're putting together a $200,000 home theater. Yeah. Like it's all about proportions, right? If you're gonna spend 14 grand on a processor and its matching amplifier, like, I mean, it's overkill for this room. I'm using it because it's gonna help me, mix and monitor in my Atmos stuff, and I'm making sure to put objects in and sounds in the front wides, so I want to see what it sounds like in here. And somebody was, dude, all these front wide people, they're like, I was like, yeah, you're probably not going to hear a whole lot of difference with front wides. Give it like 3 to 5 years, because someone actually has to place a sound in there, because they're not, the front wides are not considered the bed track in Atmos, which is, someone's like, oh, that's probably just because of Logic. I was like, no, it's a limitation of Atmos, actually, because it's not considered a bed track, even though it's in a bed layer. 2 different things. Watch my video about it. Anyway, they were so mad. I was just like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy 50 of the fucking movies from 2022 and sit here with no speakers plugged in except the front wides and watch them all. And I bet you anything, less than 5% of these movies are going to have any information in there. And people are like, no, I got them. They sound great. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm
you're going to test that?
But like, dude, $14,000 can be spent in such a better way, Fred. Okay.
Wow.
Fred.
All right.
Just went straight for Fred already.
Wow.
He
You out,
commented,
brother.
he commented, his comment's pretty hilarious. But yeah.
Oh.
If I was gonna spend $200,000 on a car, I'm not gonna put I'm not gonna buy some wheels from Tire Rack and put them on there, even though I bought.
Hey, what's wrong with Tire Rack?
I bought snow tires and wheels from Tire Rack.
So you're saying you're not gonna get like your Porsche, and you're not gonna put some hand cooked tires. You're gonna I'm not gonna put some Michelin Pilot Super Sports or something on there, right?
I'm gonna put some HRE classic 305s on there in the what is it, the brushed aluminum finish. But no, I'm not. I'm gonna spend like $10,000 to $15,000 on wheels for a $200,000 car.
You're not gonna buy used tires?
I'm not gonna.
No?
So it's about a level. It's about levels. I think with products like these, like, you're gonna spend 14 grand on the pre-pro and the amp. Then yeah, you want to spend 20 grand on the projector, Sony JVC. Go yes, right. Do that. You want to mix and match cheap things and expensive things.
I see.
I mean, you do.
And we say that. We say that,
want.
but I've seen plenty of guys that have huge amounts of money. They've been very successful. They build out an incredible home theater, but then they'll choose to make a choice like, let's just say they use Emotiva amplifiers, and people are like, that seems weird. Why didn't you go with a Trenov amplifier? Why didn't you go? And to them, they're looking at, I don't know if I would hear the value or the difference in that. So why would I spend more money on that?
Sure.
And so some people are like that, but then others are going to build this really cool home theater, and they're like, you know what? I've got all this money invested in it. Everything's really nice and high end. So I'm going to equally do that with my cables as well and buy some cool fancy cables. And so everybody kind of, you have to figure out what works best for you. But I think some people are okay with spending less, even though they got this really killer high end system.
Yeah. Well, everybody spends their money differently, right?
100%.
So even there could be some rich guy that would never treat you out to dinner.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
And then you have a guy who's like barely makes it, and
absolutely,
if you make friends with him, he's gonna treat you out one day.
Hooks you up.
So it's just a different mindset. The other day I went to get, you guys are gonna laugh at this. It's totally random, actually. It has to do with your tire thing, Sean. I got all new tires for the van, right?
Please tell me not from Tire Rack. Oh, you just got a sale, buddy.
Yeah. So we got all new tires, right? And then on the phone, the guy's like, so do you want used tires or do you want new tires? I'm like, new tires, bro. Like, all new tires. I don't know. But it made me remember that when I was younger, I couldn't really afford all new tires.
Yeah.
I would get the used tires. You know what I mean? So now I'm balling. I get new tires. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing. Have you guys ever gotten used tires? Have you
No,
ever had to?
I'm balling, so I
No.
just buy a new vehicle.
You just
Word.
I just need all. I got a flat. Give me a new
No,
car.
I do not. Joe knows what I drive. I drive a Ford Explorer. So.
Yeah. But I'm just saying,
20
back in the day, I remember a
PT,
time when I'd get, had to get a new tire. I
Yeah.
had to get, $50 used tire. That's how it
A
was.
new tire.
You know,
Yeah.
all that. I used to
So-
buy used tires.
A new tire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said get a new tire. Like,
And
All
until later on in life, I got the Beamer that
Mhm.
needed the run flats. And they're
Mhm.
like, yeah, you need a new tire. It's gonna be $500. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it gets expensive,
What are you
man.
talking about? That's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
kind of relates a little
Ike
bit.
says used tires are the way to go.
Used tires are the way to go. Maybe.
Well, I
Ike
mean,
says,
Real ghetto is getting the
used
tire
gear.
retreaded.
can you add some duct tape on that? And give me an extra 10,000 miles.
That's
That
what's
would be
up.
awesome.
retreaded.
I mean, Youth
Just
Man's
zip
got
tie.
a whole video on buying used equipment. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm all for used. I mean, there's a time and a place for that. I mean, nothing wrong with that, man. If you can save some money, what I always advocate though is buy quality used equipment. Buy something that somebody has taken care of. Maybe they're wanting to upgrade to that brand new AV10 and they're selling their old Denon. Okay. The old Denon is still a great AVR, so you might get a good buy on that.
yeah.
Um,
All right, my wife texted me. She's like, somebody's banging on the door, and we have a bunch of renters and shit here. And I was like, what? And it was just a delivery. I was just like, oh, damn. I thought I was gonna have to like get out there and
Rough
smack
'em up a
somebody up.
bit.
Like,
Rough 'em
I'm in
up a
my
bit.
show.
I released a new video this morning and it's not doing so well.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is it the
But-
what is it called? The Monolith? What is it?
The Monolith audition.
Audition.
Mhm.
So I broke it up into 3 different ones because it was just getting super long.
Mhm.
Right. So I had a whole section that was all measurements because
Right.
it was the towers, the bookshelf, and the center. So I'm like, had to talk about each one.
Right.
And
you
so
did measurements.
I made a measurement one. Of course, people don't really
Hey.
watch the measurement one. And then I made one that's like the binaural demo because I wanted to show like kind of how they sounded. Did all right. And I'm like, oh, this one, the review should be good. I posted it this morning. It's like, the heck? Shorts are doing better than this. Yeah, not so good. I don't know why that happens. I think it's because the other 2 that were related to it didn't do so well. And so I'm thinking that YouTube's probably like, people must not be interested in this. But anyway, I still think it's an interesting thing. It's very inexpensive. It's Monolith's least expensive speakers, even less expensive than Encore series,
Mhm.
right? And it was very interesting because they were like, the tweeter was too bright by like 3 dB, right? It was too hot. I'm like, that's
Right.
weird because they're always like, pretty spot on with their tuning, And I guess what happened is supposedly the factory decided they could make the tweeter more efficient
Mhm.
without saying anything. Like, hey, we made it more efficient. That means it's louder. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Mhm.
I don't know how true that is, but yeah.
I like your thumbnails, man. So I mean, it's not your title, it's not your thumbnails. Those look
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I
this
don't know.
big face in the center of the screen.
It's that big old face. You know what?
maybe if
Dude,
you dye, if you dye
what's-
your beard black.
Can you see my mouse pointer here? The screen?
Yeah. What you want to know what that is?
No, dude, this looks
That's a
it
turkey.
looks like the singe cell exploded into some art on the wall.
You farted.
Yeah.
It
Vomited
looks like
on
a
the
turkey
wall.
that like 3rd graders do or something.
It is.
Yeah, it's from
it
his
is.
daughter.
It's
Yeah, I could easily
it's a
figure that
thankful
out.
turkey that was still up from Thanksgiving.
Well, he's very thankful if he's still
Yeah,
up.
super
Yeah.
thankful. I think
Yeah,
Techno
so-
Dad's in there on one of those, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Since you call so often, they're like, Techno Dad.
Oh,
The
they're
kids
really-
already know you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting because it was so bright. Aaron, remember I
Yes.
told you that I this time I measured first and then listened afterwards?
Yeah, why'd you do that, man? That was a terrible idea.
Because
Just kidding.
one good thing is sometimes you measure, right? And it's just that one speaker. And you measure the second one, like, oh, there's a problem with this one. Something happened.
Yeah, sometimes I've
So-
run into that.
that's kind of one reason why I did that. But also, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what the measurement says, because in this case, the measurement said it was too bright. I don't like bright speakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to them, and they are bright. I mean, it is what it is, right? It sounded like it measured. But then the thing that was tricky was I didn't hate it. And usually I don't like it. And it was kind of weird because it sounded like there was a difference between a speaker that is well designed, that where the tweeter was just too hot, versus one that just like they didn't know what they were doing, and like there's some weird issues.
Yeah.
The directivity issues, and it's too hot. Like it was weird because it just sounded like your treble was up too high.
Yeah. I've run into that.
And that's like, different though than a speaker that's just like all over the place. Like, oh, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Yeah,
there's been times I can't remember what speaker it was, but it's one of my more recent speaker reviews, which is like back in August or September, where I ran into a speaker that was like that. The treble was just boosted, and it wasn't like it was offensive, but you noticed it, as opposed to some speakers, when you listen to them, there may be one or two frequencies that are boosted and they stand out so much that it is offensive, right? But some speakers, it's almost like they have a contour built into them, and they got a gently rising frequency response on the top end, and it's just kind of like, I mean, I don't necessarily like it, but it's not as bad as other ones, or you may look at it and be like, well, that's going to sound bright, and it kind of does, but it's not overbearing. It doesn't make you go, oh my god, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Yeah. And I guess it's where it's at, because this one kind of had the dip in that 2 to 3 kilohertz region.
Yeah.
But then it was above 3 kilohertz where it was just like lifted. So I don't know. I just thought that it was interesting that I did not hate it. Of course, I sounded better with it turned down. And that also reminds me, because you did this before too, right? The tweeters on the original Encore series, remember how they measured weird? They had that dip.
Yeah.
Did you put in the replacement? You had to solder in a new tweeter. No.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
I did all that on all 5 of them,
because I haven't remeasured them. You said that it was better.
Yeah, I don't remember it being like a big difference though. That's the thing. If you're curious, I can go back and pull the data.
Yeah, I just did it on 3 speakers yesterday. I just resoldered them.
But I didn't even solder mine, man. Difference. I put on crimp connectors. I went out and bought crimp connectors because I was like, I'm not about to solder these. I bought the little small crimp connectors and stuck them on there, and then crimped them in place, and said, whoever gets them next, they'll just have to deal with non-soldered wires.
That's probably a better idea, just because I'm always worried with a tweeter, right? Like if you keep that soldering iron there too long, aren't you gonna like
voice coil? Yeah, you
seems
can
like it'd be really quick. Like you got to be quick with that thing.
Yeah, that was a common thing with some of ScanSpeak's tweeters, and like ScanSpeak tweeters are $100 to $300 each tweeter, depending on which model you buy. And in the car audio realm, there's a lot of people that were complaining because they held the solder gun on the terminal lead for too long, and the terminal runs to the voice coil, right? So they would actually melt the voice coil.
Yeah,
they wouldn't just solder it on there and then take it away. They would leave it sitting on there, trying to over solder, basically doing what they shouldn't be doing.
Look, there's the tweeter.
Got here.
There's the old one on the left and the new one on the right.
Yeah, I don't even remember what.
You see how like I guess they push it in further into the waveguide.
So it would get rid of that strong dip at the higher. It was like around 10 kilohertz or something like that. But it seemed to me like it was still kind of there, but I do remember it being more smooth. It wasn't as significant.
I haven't measured it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear any immediate difference. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I do. There. Just
for those wondering about those hard drives I was talking about, they're still on sale, 45% off. I just dropped the link in the chat. Oh,
yeah.
Good. What happened?
Yeah, no, I was replacing the tweeter.
So they sent you a tweeter to replace it with?
Yeah, a long time ago, and I just barely did it now. Do you remember?
Yeah, I felt bad because it took me like 2 months before I got around to it.
Well, it's way longer than 2 months for me.
I know. I didn't say it. I was thinking it.
It's all right. It's all right.
It was like,
do you remember if these woofers had a vented pole piece? Because when I stuck my hand in there, I could feel like an indent, and I wasn't sure if it was just like an indent in the yoke or the magnet piece, or if it was actually a vented. Because I'm like, this is inexpensive. It's vented. That's kind of good.
I don't remember. I think I actually took them apart for my video, but I don't remember.
See, like I told you when I talked to you earlier today, I went to your website, tried to look for the picture. I thought I remember you taking it apart, and I didn't see it there. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, I did take it apart in my video, but I didn't take a picture because I'm lazy.
So it's in your video taken apart? No. I want to see if the back was vented. I didn't want to take out the woofer unnecessarily.
I'm scrolling through it right now. Dude, I've got an awesome Phil Collins shirt on in that video. I almost wore it tonight, actually.
Can you feel it?
Shawna's, I can't feel it. Can you feel it? Shawna is drinking a drink that says Truly on it. And I don't know if you guys know the Lionel Richie song Truly, but I'm singing Truly, Truly.
I'm drinking Truly.
You, girl. Truly.
So the whole show,
I'm
I'm dropping like little lyrics to Aaron. I'm gonna see how many he can pick up.
I didn't see
first
this comment from Gianni P. I guess what I said got him miffed. Oh, poor room acoustics, mediocre speaker layout. Not surprising you didn't hear a difference from your Pioneer.
Oh,
and then the Rolly eyes face.
Shots fired, man.
Yeah. Here.
Poor room acoustics.
Do it.
I don't know. This is in my music studio, so
Pew, pew.
I've had this. Where did it go?
It's not surprising.
Not
He's
surprising.
not surprised.
Not surprising. I don't have any fucking nothing.
Stop cussing, Shawna.
Anywhere. There's even more back there. And as far as speaker layout is concerned, we are rocking the Cube.
Yeah.
But yeah, and for those that don't know, I built a studio long before I made a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Long before I knew I could actually make YouTube videos.
Yeah. Mediocre speaker layout, which is kind of funny because you're able to place your speakers pretty much anywhere because that's all you do there, right?
That's all I do.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I have here, let's turn the lights back on.
No WAF needed in there.
Here's
man.
he's around.
He's wherever
here's my front wide.
Let's make it fun then.
Stage.
He's laughing. He's, oh my god, 2-inch egg carton foam and you're bragging. LOL. Ghetto treatments.
Ghetto treatments.
All right.
Hey.
All right. I see you, Gianni. I see you, Johnny.
I
see you, Gianni.
Oh, you
If it
done
makes you feel
made
any better,
Angela
Chana,
mad.
I ordered a egg crate foam mattress today to go into my my dining room to where I can get rid of some of the echoes from the Klipsch.
This is actually,
but it's 4-inch, so it's better than
4-inch.
yours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's way better. It's twice as better.
This is egg crates. It's actually the Oralux room kit too. For music studios. So
well, yeah.
Hey, you know what? If it's good enough for a music studio, I guess it's shitty enough for everybody.
Yeah,
right?
I would say. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Gianni P. We'll let you hang out for a little bit.
Rank amateur.
He'll call in a little bit.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
You see look at how phased Shawna is right now. You really got to him.
I'm laughing.
I think you got to him. Yeah. So anyway, we're just here to have fun, man. I don't think anybody needs to stress out about audio equipment and this setup. If you have a great setup, Gianni, congratulations, man. Yeah. You know, that's awesome.
Probably Shawna's wife just talking trash.
She has better things to do with
Sasha's at the market.
She's
watching the video.
Show. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, but don't worry, I'll make a video with a binaural recording comparing the two. And if anybody hears the difference, man, you must have been on some good shit when you did. Or it's just the placebo effect, right?
Yeah.
So that is the hard thing. I mean, let's take, for example, you had to unhook your probably a receiver at the time, or did you have a processor in there previously?
Oh, who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was a receiver.
I know my eyes looking at Aaron, but I was talking to you.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Sorry.
That was a good one. So yeah,
both of those.
So when you swap out
when
you swap out an AVR, I mean, honestly, it takes a while to calibrate, to set the other one up, to run your software. You know,
it would be.
It's hard to truly go, okay, here's exactly what I heard. Yeah, and I think people.
Well, that's why the recording is going to be great. That's a binaural recording. do everything. And then Joe, didn't you say it's better not to do room correction for that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the way that you're doing it with the manual calibration actually is good because you can actually just copy all the settings. You know, you can't use Odyssey on one AVR and transfer that calibration to
I see what you're
another one because it's gonna say nope, this is a different AVR. But if you take your distance settings and your level settings and all the exact same settings, you can just copy those over.
Right, because the speakers are in the same place. They're the same speakers, same amplifier. And I've set it up here. If you saw my little thing about cable labels, a little short. Yeah, I've got it set up so I can easily plug in the receiver. So I have a 6700 here. I'll put it up against, I don't know, the 7706 or even this Marantz that's here and see what happens. And I think people are going to be surprised at the results because they're going to be like, oh my God, everybody said that there was ABC, XYZ, and now I just hear poop. That's why it's rank.
Yeah.
Hey,
who's saying something they were going to send me? Thought of sending it to Joe because he asked the question, do you hear the sound difference, amp signature? I mean, I've done the test before. I've done various amps. The amp that sounded the most different for my amps that I had was this old Marantz 2220B. That's like from the 70s.
Oh, that one.
And it sounded different and I liked it, you know. But yeah, I even did measurements and all that, and then there was a measurable difference. But that was an amp from the 70s though. Could have been like maybe I need to replace a capacitor, who knows? You know.
Yeah, when I've done comparisons, the one that I heard the most difference was the one that had a channel that had a hum in it. Definitely noticed that, like big time.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, somebody said this isn't awkward. Well, I guess this is when we were talking.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry, we made it awkward, man.
We're just having
not
fun.
Supposed
guys.
to be awkward.
We're having fun.
Some of these guys are laughing.
They're all laughing. You want to talk about amps? Dan Black has a question about amps. Youthman and all y'all, a few of you tried review the Parasound A52 Plus. How does that compare to the Monolith amps?
Oh yeah, that's a good Michael question because and Shawna, have you reviewed both? I have the A52 Plus. Never tried a Monolith amp.
Yeah. So I like both of them. And Parasound, the great thing about Parasound is they're built like tanks. They've been around for decades. They're definitely one of those staples in the audio industry. Just rock solid. They sound great. But as far as to, did I hear a difference? No. The Parasound looks cooler. It's got a nice, beautiful front faceplate. But the Monoliths, they're made by ATI. So ATI makes solid amps. And so the good thing with Monoprice is they realize, okay, we're not an amplifier company, so we need to connect with some people that know this so that we can make a quality product. And so they did that with their amplifiers. Same thing with their subwoofers. They're not a subwoofer company. They don't know how to build subwoofers. So what do? They contracted with Dan, who's the owner of Perlisten, to make an incredible subwoofer in that budget price point. So, I love them, man. I had no problems with my Monolith 11X. It's solid, huge amount of power. And so I don't have any problem, but I didn't hear any difference, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
so.
Me too. It's going to be, what do you call it? Nothing that really would stand out, right? Excuse me. I only got the Parasounds because certain speaker manufacturers are like, well, what are you powering? And send me some speakers review. Okay, what are you going to power it with? If I say some, doo-doo $80 tabletop, I'm trying to look for one tabletop amplifier. I don't have one. They're gonna be like, yeah, no, these are $2,000 pair of speakers. We're not gonna, what do you call it? We're not gonna send you anything. So when I say, oh, it's a Parasound, A52 Plus or A51 or whatever, they're just like, oh, okay. Especially the THX people, because it's like 400, 4 ohm speakers, and they're like, yeah, we want 250, 300, 400 watts in these things. They're like, okay. What happened?
No, it's it just Gianni's just saying you know, he likes the live stream. He just thinks that you're arrogant. That's all.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, people tell me I don't know what I'm talking about majority of the time. And there was this one guy who was just like, well, you're no professional. I'm like, I've been in the music industry for over 20 years.
Arrogant.
Doing shit. I don't know.
Nah.
It's my
just
royalty
admit it,
checks,
bro. It's all right.
From TV shows and stuff.
It's okay. It's all right.
Doesn't matter.
You know what?
Yeah.
You got it wrong, Gianni. Chana's not arrogant. He's just spoiled.
Yeah.
Spoiled.
I'm a spoiled little boy. I love it. Love it.
Don't get it mixed up. You know what I mean? Because he's
yeah.
a very generous man also. So that's something you may not know.
Yeah.
He balances it out, you know?
True.
Treat
That's
himself, treat everybody else around him.
Treat somebody else out.
So
Yeah.
it's a good balance. What else? Oh, Michael, you just recently reviewed some Klipsch RP subs, Reference Premiere, the new ones.
Oh yeah, they got.
I haven't reviewed them yet.
No,
No?
it was just
Okay.
the announcement.
Yeah,
right?
it was literally just the announcement. Yeah, because nobody has those yet.
Okay.
So yeah, but they announced.
That's why it's always the same picture. It's always the same picture, right?
Actually, it's not. You go look
did
at
you get
mine,
a
dude.
different one?
Bro, I do my own custom.
Shit.
I know. You had the different thumbnail. I'm like,
Look
oh, you
at
must
mine,
have
dude.
them.
Mine's custom
What's up?
thumbnail, bro. I made that in Photoshop. I mean, seriously, take a look at it, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about it? Because I guess they had like a Zoom meeting or something like that.
they're correct. So we had like a webinar with them. So they talked about it. The biggest thing is that we know Klipsch has never really been the go-to for subwoofers. They make good speakers for those of you that like that signature sound. But their subwoofers have always struggled. They don't have a ton. They don't dig super deep. Like I had their best subwoofer I think Klipsch has ever made, which is the RSW15s. Had 4 of them. But once you hit 20 hertz, I mean, it literally drops like a rock. There's nothing below 20. And so with this new series, they knew they were fighting a couple of things and they needed to improve. Number 1, low end extension. Number 2, amp reliability, because their amps were failing a lot. So they spent a lot of time building a brand new series, not just trying to put a band-aid on it, but like, okay, we need to fix this. We need to really put some effort into this. And so again, this is just coming from them. We don't have any data. We don't have any long-term owners to verify what their claims are. But the claim is we put this thing through some brutal test to see if we can get these amps to fail. I mean, way beyond what any consumer would do to it. And we wanted to make sure these things are going to be quality. So they worked on that. They're willing to back that up now with a 5-year warranty, not only on just the components, but also on the actual amplifier itself. So at least they're putting their money where their mouth is, and that's good. And then the other thing is they added some lower end extension. And so these new subwoofers, so they've got 4 new ones. They've got a 10, a 12, a 14, and a 16.
Can you bring up some of the stuff? Because
Let's see your picture.
I think
What's that?
let's see your picture.
Croson says we need to do a thumbnail war.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that Tim will make this its own segment because it's subwoofers and everybody loves subwoofers.
Let me do this. I'll pull up the. Here's what I've got. Let's go here.
Yeah, what can you show? How many people were on that Zoom, by the way? That's the only reason I didn't do it. I'm like, it might be some people I don't want to be with.
Honestly, it doesn't say. It just you're just one of them, and you don't even. You get
just a number, Joe. You're just
a
number.
Okay.
You get to chat, but it's not like.
Okay. Was Jill there?
Jill. Yes, Jill was. She was hosting it, dude.
No way. I always like to say what's up to Jill.
I was hesitant to tell this even in an email or text her because I didn't want to come across weird. But she's got like really curly hair. It looked really awesome, man. Because I've seen her always with straight hair. So I'm like, it looked really nice. But I didn't say that.
There you go.
The best reaction was
I don't want to be the creepy youth man.
My very first TikTok video is Joe recording me at CES, and I'm doing like a karaoke, and in the big notes, he turns and we see Jill from Klipsch running over like. What? It was like the coolest thing, dude.
And she's real small, so she just came.
And I'll be honest, man. I've been dealing with Jill. She's been my main contact for 5 years since I've been on my YouTube channel. Yeah, she's just the sweetest person, man.
She is.
But, so as long as you're nice to Jill, you can say whatever you want about the product.
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
You can
She's
say whatever you
fantastic.
want as long as you're nice to her.
And she has busted her butt over the years. I mean, she's way on up there in Klipsch too, man.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but she's worked
awesome.
hard. So, but yeah,
She's very-
there's a
very
couple
nice lady.
photos right there, Joe, if you want to pull that up.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, so we've got a 10-inch, a 12-inch, a 14-inch, and a 16-inch. So you can see the 10 and the 12 are a lot deeper
Whoa.
than they are square. Okay, so they're going to fit a little bit deeper. The 14-inch is kind of what they think is probably going to be the sweet spot, kind of the best bang for the buck. It's more your kind of square shape versus a deep rectangular shape. And then you've got the big boy, the 16. So the one question that I wanted to verify, because a lot of people asked me on my channel, about a year ago, Klipsch mentioned on the podcast, they were like, hey, we're coming out with the Beast.
The Beast, yeah.
And this is going to be, I think they even referred to it as like the SVS killer, or maybe that's what I put on my the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So I asked her, I said, I just want to know, can you confirm, is that 16 the Beast? And they said it is not.
What?
That's 16. So that is the RP. Yeah, that's the RP 1600 SW is the model number. The that unit is really in direct comparison and competition to the SVS 4000. Okay. So the 16-inch, which is their PB16, the Beast is going to go head to head with that one. And of course, their desire is to be the SVS killer kind of thing, you know, put it to rest kind of deal.
It's kind of funny because that 10-inch looks like remember those bazooka tubes? It's like longer than it is. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it does remind me of that. It's funny.
Prices? Bodie's asking.
Let me look here. Honestly, I would have to go back to my video. No. I can do this. Hang on.
I like the knobs. I'll tell you straight up. Those
the knobs are something different.
Cool.
They did that so when you're looking over the back side of your subwoofer and you're looking down, it's dark back there. It's got like a little magnifying glass on the top, so you can see the numbers. That's cool. That's a little different.
That's what Klipsch always gets right though. Like these little tiny things that kind of differentiate them. It's not going to be a huge deal, but it's just kind of like, yeah, I like that.
All right. So price wise, actually, that's wrong because that's my script. Let me go back here to this other document right here, press kit. Okay.
And
so
you have specs on that too.
So everything's on their website. It's a good thing. So you can literally go to their website and pull up each one of these. So the model numbers are the RP, so reference premier. Right. You got a 1000 SW, a 1200 SW, 1400 SW, and 1600 SW.
So add 2 zeros and an SW at the end. Right?
Yeah. So the great thing about this is Klipsch used common sense when they made the model name. So the 1000 is a 10, 1200 is a 12, 1400 is a 14-inch, and the 1600 16-inch. So you're looking at $749 for the 10-inch. It's got a 600 watt peak amplifier.
700. Okay.
I'll tell you what,
yeah.
I mean, I can go back to my notes and then I can tell you specs. So,
and there's a reason I'm asking specifically about these.
Okay. Well, let's do it. Let me just go back to my notes, which would be, there we go. Right here.
Oh, do they have DSP? Like anything that you can tune, like an app type of thing with PEQ?
Yeah, I don't think they didn't mention anything about an app.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. So the 10-inch. So we got a 300 watt continuous, 600 watt peak amplifier. Frequency response is down to 19 hertz. It's like 16 inches by 15 inches by 24 inches deep. So it's really deep. Weighs 56 pounds. It's got an MSRP of $749.
Which one is that one?
That's the 10-inch.
10-inch. Okay. Dang. Oh wow, that's a 10-inch.
Okay, so here's what I'm curious about. When I saw the specs, do you have the specs on it, like their claimed frequency response? Because I looked at those, I'm like, no way.
That's what I said. 19 hertz.
Okay, that's for the 10-inch. They said 19.
19, right? So
that is pretty deep.
Yeah.
Right.
So the 12-inch.
Okay, I can kind of.
I mean, I
can kind of see it with a big enough enclosure.
Yeah, right.
All right. I didn't know it was that deep.
Yeah. So so the 12-inch bumps up a little bit in wattage. So you're going from a 300 watt to a 400 watt continuous, 600 watt peak on the previous to an 800 watt. So not a big difference. A couple hundred watts extra there. Frequency hertz on this one on the 12-inch is down to 15.5 hertz. Okay. A little bit heavier.
15.5. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not going to give you the box measurements unless you want them.
Yeah, no. It's okay. I can kind of take a look and see.
Weighs 68 pounds, so a little bit heavier. MSRP is right at $1,000.
Okay.
So then you jump up to the 14-inch. So that one's a little bit, again, another 100 watts continuous. So you're at 500 watts continuous, 1,000 peak. This one measures down to 16 hertz, so pretty similar to the 12.
Mm-hmm.
And it weighs 83 pounds. MSRP on that one's 1,400.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, the 16-inch. So this is going in comparison with the SVS PB 4000.
Mm-hmm.
800 watt continuous amp, 1600 watt peak.
Okay.
Frequency response on that one goes down to 14.5 hertz. 110 pounds. MSRP of 1,800.
Yeah. I'm always just skeptical when it comes to,
and I get it. And everybody,
specs, you know what I mean?
Everybody is. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is one of those things where Klipsch truly, it's not like, well, you can't say, tell me, we want you to show me. You know what I mean? It's like, we have to see the data. We have to see what, people that own these have to say, what reviewers have to say, get it out in the wild, and let's see what happens. How does it shake out? Do they live up to their claims? And so right now,
minus 20 dB down.
Well, and that's the thing. We don't know. So it is.
Well, it says, I thought it said they're like minus 3 dB on their thing. Like it said specifically.
Well, let's go to their website.
But it also doesn't say the SPL it's at too.
I'm going to see RP 1600.
Gambigator asks, are they ported? And it looks like there's a front slot port.
That's correct. They have a kind of a patented, I think they're calling it an aerofoil. It's a certain kind of path and style inside, but it's basically a front ported, slotted port that supposedly eliminates pretty much all of the port noise, is what they're claiming.
Oh, no chuffing, no.
Again, that's what they're claiming. Yeah. So I don't think I've ever seen a ported sub that didn't have that at the certain
certain frequency,
certain frequency and certain amount.
So I love these sizing here. It reminds me of working at Domino's Pizza, because that 10-inch was a small, 12 was a medium, 14 large, and 16 extra large. I'm getting flashbacks of flipping pizzas.
So I'm gonna share something else. So I'm actually on their website. So they do show some of their again, these are just their graphs, their charts. So again,
Aaron, do you believe these?
So here's what
I don't know. They look generic to me, so it's hard to say.
Well, and they may be.
Hey, so competitor two's got to be a rel.
No, I was egging you on because I think your experience with some of Klipsch's specs with like sensitivity, was pretty off.
This is just their claims, so we don't know. We're literally guessing, and even me, I love Klipsch, but I mean, I can't jump on board and go, yeah, these things are hitting down to. I haven't measured them myself. I don't know.
I mean, we don't have nobody has them yet, so
yeah.
We can't say any of that.
Correct. Yep. So that's
look at that. I like that triangle though. You know what I mean?
What is that?
Yeah. So they're trying.
It's like
they're trying to kind of compare their other competitors. We don't know who those are, but I would assume one of them is going to be SVS.
Like your color space.
So I don't know what the who their else their other.
I'm telling you, competitor two from that hump, it's got to be rel.
Right here.
Looks just like my rel.
This one right here. This one?
Yeah, 100%. The blue one.
Oh, that.
That totally looks like my rel.
Jeez.
Oh, you're funny, bro.
Yeah. So, so this is what Joe was talking about right here. So these are
look at that.
That looks
smart. Cool. Oh, that's nice.
Different. So here's that you were asking about the port. So I mean, nothing.
I like that they
there.
blurred the subwoofer to make it look like it's moving.
The whole thing is moving.
The whole thing's moving.
That shouldn't be moving, that basket.
Yeah, true.
That's
a graphic guy. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's a graphics guy.
I may, joke about the rel, but scroll back up, Michael.
Yes,
scroll up real quick to the to the knob.
Oh, okay. Right.
The one thing that rel does, which I wish everybody does, is have a notched volume or level on the back of the subwoofer. That is huge. Because I have two of them, and I can start them at midnight and then just go 6 clicks to the left on both, or whatever it is. you know, it's easy.
Right.
Got it.
Because it's notched. But yeah, so hopefully they do something like that.
The blurred basket's kind of funny. It reminds me of, like, you
It
ever
is.
ask a kid who doesn't know how to drive, right? Or,
Yeah.
And you say, hey, you see them like pretending to drive, and they're like, let's go faster, and then they're just moving the wheel faster.
So this is
It makes you go faster.
this is interesting too. So they added these little rubber feet down here,
I like
Oh.
that.
kind of as built-in isolators. I thought that was
That is
cool.
smart. Because you'd have to buy the isolation
Mhm.
feet from SBS, which are extra.
So that
Listen,
kinda
come-
gives you an
what's up
you
with the
kinda
chair in
see-
the corner over there between the speakers and like whoever that is? I feel sorry for that person.
yeah.
They got the best.
That guy's
chair.
watching
that's a
everybody.
$3,000 That's a $3,000 chair.
Yeah.
They're just watching
Well, this is the
everybody
worst spot
enjoy
ever.
the movie.
Yeah.
That's what they're
So here
doing.
you
Got
can
the
kind of
Eames
again
chair
see
in the corner
sizes
facing
there.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I see this tower of sub every time SBS
Mhm.
you know, goes to
Yeah,
a
when they
trade
do the
show.
trade show. It's
Yes.
cool though.
Yeah.
Because
That's
that way you
Rail's idea.
physically, that's the way you can see. Well, Rail does them because they want you to stack them, and they say
I know.
that
I'm making a
it makes
joke.
a-
At Rails.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Joke.
their claim is it makes the base higher.
Hey, this is exciting
Right.
stuff.
What?
You
So-
know, we nobody's measured these, right? So
Yeah.
we don't know.
Correct.
I think it's fair for me to be skeptical
Absolutely.
of the measurements, just
Everybody
because
should be.
just
yeah.
because they're, you know, in the past they have their own way of doing
Yeah.
sensitivity that's not anybody else's way. I don't know if they
Check
have
out
their
the,
own way of doing their low frequency bass extension. I don't know. But hey, I'm hoping that they
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that they
Yeah.
do what
Yeah,
they're
you
supposed
know
to do
they've got
because the
some
price looks
Serious
good.
DSP.
More competition is always
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope they
the
sell a
heat
ton
sink
of
on
them.
that amp. The heat sink on that amp is really small, and I'm not at all saying that it can't work. I want to make that
Yeah.
clear because I don't want to get labeled like a hater. I'm just saying the heat sink on that amp is actually
Hater.
comically small.
Hater.
Yeah, well,
It might not
usually
even
from the
need a heat
inside,
sink.
right?
That's
heat sink's
beside the
usually on
point.
the
I'm just
inside.
saying, looking at it, it looks very
Yeah.
small.
Well, why would they put it on the outside, like just to show, like, hey, here's our
That's
heat
where-
sink? Because
Well,
because
I-
that's
I-
entire
hey,
Convection
inside.
cooling.
The
That's
the
convection
rail,
cooling,
the
right?
rails are like that too. The rail
All the heat builds
T-
up to the heat sink, and then the air
TX9,
in the room
yeah.
takes the heat away.
Yeah.
That's convection cooling.
Yeah, they're supposed to be facing up so that it can go up.
Go
right?
up, yeah.
Right. I mean, in that case, it probably doesn't matter. I just saw that and I was like, it looks like the size of like a Altoid can or something. You know?
Yeah,
It's just
something
so
like
Yeah, I
that.
know.
But it's class
I
D. I
noticed
mean,
that
like
too.
I say, it may not even need, you know what I'm saying? Like it may not even get to the point where
That's
it
what
actually
Slim
needs the
says,
heat
yeah.
sink, but it's just is funny that it looks that small. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I got
Even
you.
Ike says you're a
Aaron,
hater.
you're a hater, bro. Look at the feet. I
Oh,
like
I hate
that.
Ike. He knows that though.
Arturo says he's got a question.
I love
up
Ike.
here.
So this is all very cool stuff, man. I really hope
Is
that
that-
they perform.
Hold up. Was that on the knobs? Was that like a magnifying glass?
Yeah, it's like a little it has
Dude.
like a little line on it. Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know if it's a
man.
magnifying glass, but it has a line on it so you
Okay.
can see it a little bit better.
They're copying the
That's where-
Rolex
where you actually are.
Cyclops.
Because if you think about it, you know, you have to be facing the subwoofer back to see where the knob is. Whereas like if you're
Yeah.
looking on top of it, over it, because it's going to be in a corner or something like that, that definitely would help.
Yeah.
Big Cyclops lens.
We have a
Um,
super chat here. Did we get to that or no?
Yeah, let's get to
You wanna
that. And
finish the
somebody's asking
subwoofer
me
thing?
for, you know, they're asking something.
Yeah, I see Arturo's. So thank you, Brett, for the super chat. Thoughts on the Yamaha Avantage RX-A8A?
Gotta get
Well,
to it.
I have one here, and it is the least used AVR Pre-Pro whatever I have in house.
And why?
And why? Pow!
That,
Ah!
How?
well, I thought you said that with the toolkit you can just, you know, manually calibrate.
Yeah. I haven't done it yet, but I will go with the manual calibration because you know it has some great features.
Mhm.
The DACs, the XLR inputs, stereo XLR inputs for those of you that have like a a high end CD player or whatever, audio player. Not too keen on the HDMI. They have 3 HDMI 2.1 ports where their marketing department was like, oh, this is the best thing ever, but they're capped at 24 gigabits per second. So that will only accept a compressed 4K 120 hertz HDR VRR signal, and then they just got HDR VRR 120 hertz 4K working about 2 months ago, and the thing's been out for over 2 years. So yeah, kind of rough for something that's $3,500. In that price point, you could go with the Denon 6700H, which will offer 13 channels of processing, 11 channels of power, and even though the A8A does Oro 3D, it's a 9-channel Oro 3D as opposed to a 13-channel Oro 3D in the Denon. So there's a I feel like it's how many zones does it have? Too many. Maybe 3. I think it's got zone 2 and zone 3. But yeah.
So is it mainly the wipeout? Like
it's the room correction is not the greatest.
Okay.
And that's kind of why I don't like it. It also got removed from the main system because Paul's gonna like this. The CEC was just too good. Okay, so anytime like we're watching on the Direct TV, and then for some reason the Apple TV wakes up, boom, switches inputs. And the fact that my wife kept contacting me and said this thing keeps changing inputs on me, I had to take it out. I had to take it out because she called. I'm the tech support here, and then the worst part is she's like, "How come the Direct TV is not working? Aren't you like Techno Dad? Can't you like figure this out?" My babe, there's snow on the dish. We're not.
That is awesome.
It has nothing to do
That's
with
hilarious. Man. Aren't you Techno Dad? You need a T-shirt that says that. Aren't I Techno Dad?
Can't you fix
I love
this?
that.
Yeah, no.
I love that, man.
That's funny, man.
So yeah.
Hopefully Tim can splice the two together. You talking about the subs, Michael, the Klipsch subs and these Elac subs that were just released.
Oh,
you guys see this?
Those too. Yeah, those look pretty interesting.
The Vero line.
Varo.
So Varo.
Well, it's 2 R's. Varo.
Yeah.
I don't know what accent it is.
Look at this. So I guess they have 3 different series. I actually have 3 of them.
Whoa.
But
which ones do you have?
Dual.
What is that? Is it a dual?
Yeah.
Are they actually active drivers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, those are expensive too, so they better be.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
But
look at the
$2,500 for a dual 10.
Right? They have wide range. So right now I have these, the least expensive ones.
Right.
PS250, the 10-inch. I have the 12 and the 15.
Right.
And since they're nearby, I'm assuming I'll probably get the opportunity to test all of them. Yeah. So check out this surround though.
Yeah, that's a very interesting surround.
Yeah.
Right. So I haven't done very much driver testing like you have, Aaron, but I guess the idea is that
is that rigidity?
Well, I guess the surround deforms, right?
Yeah, I was just wondering
when
if
it's
that's
near
like
max excursion.
Yeah, maybe for symmetry and in full excursion, just to keep like the voice coil centered through the suspension, because you have the motor like holding the voice coil in place, but then you also have suspension. So if the suspension is somehow misaligned and the suspension, like the cone, the surround is part of the suspension as well, not just the spider. Like the spider is typically 70%, I think, of the suspension typically. So
70%. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's right, generally speaking. So I'd have to double check that. I wouldn't quote me on that, but
I actually took apart a woofer yesterday, and what's amazing about a woofer is how small the tolerance is between the voice coil and the magnet. Like it's between these 2 metal pieces, and it cannot touch any of it.
Right.
The whole way it's got to be like right in between. It's like tiny.
Yeah.
So
one thing about the larger subwoofers, so I'm looking at the PDF he sent me a while back. So these have built-in DSP. So you were asking about that earlier. They've got auto room EQ. So they're definitely adding some more tech inside of it, which is good. They do have an advanced app control. So
how's this heatsink? This heatsink any better? Or is it...
Yeah.
That's a bigger
there you
heat
go.
sink.
That looks like
that's a big
that's
one.
a valid heat sink.
Yeah, that's all as a subwoofer.
Is it
They're just gonna
class?
start slapping cosmetic heat sinks on these things now because of my complaint.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Exactly.
some
Aaron.
ridges, and that's not going to do anything.
It looks good.
Made out of
Have you
wood.
seen- I mean, is this a Class D amplifier? It should, right?
So they're
Yeah,
dual
that's what I was
opposing
thinking.
subwoofers. Let me look here. It is a bash amplifier topology.
Okay.
So what is Bash anyway? Because
I
I
don't
know
know.
that that's a
I've heard of Bash
brand. Like
amps, yeah.
I've seen that label
Yeah, they've been
Bash.
around
I
for
don't
a
know
long
what
time.
it is.
It says this new amplifier uses a modulated switched mode power supply allied to a conventional class AB amplifier, switching at more than 400,000 times per second. The supply tracks the incoming audio signal to ensure that the class AB amplifier gets only the voltage necessary with a little headroom to cope with today's dynamic movie and music content, thus maximizing the efficiency and potential of the amplifier. So whatever that means.
Croson says, with a heat sink that large, it just means it gets super hot, probably inefficient. All depends on how you look at it.
Well,
Oh, wow.
well,
Interesting.
if you've seen the Rel T9X and that line, they use an AB amplifier in there, so they got a fat heatsink on the back. Like it takes up almost the entire back of the subwoofer.
Yeah. So this is interesting. They have this auto EQ app. I've actually gotten a chance to test this before, but they say that they've updated it since. So it's kind of interesting in the way it works. You can actually just use your phone here. So I'll be testing all that. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to kind of compare these with Klipsch's offering whenever somebody gets their hands on it.
There you go.
This thing looks pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Dual.
It's a nice looking sub.
Let's see.
Dual opposing.
The specs on this. They claim on this one 17 hertz,
14
anechoic, and 14 in room.
Yeah, so that's definitely would be competitive.
What's the tolerance on? Like, what's the plus minus on that? Is that 17 hertz at 6 dB down, or
it does
that
not
doesn't tell me anything
here. It does not say here. I might have it in one of the documents that was sent to me, but it also doesn't say the SPL at which it's playing this 14 hertz.
Right.
Yeah.
You
So it
know,
could
because
be
that's
a lot
also
lower.
important.
Yeah,
So
true.
they said the max output level is 118 dB, which is pretty loud. But where is that? Is that at 80 hertz? Is that at or is it at 14 hertz?
Like if they slapped
a huge difference,
plus minus
at
3 dB
300
or something like that on there.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna require a lot of testing that I don't do. I don't do CA 2010 testing.
I don't know if I ever want to do it again. I think the only person we've got now is James Larson, and good luck to James.
Everybody's just pushing it on him,
man.
Send
James
it to
can
him.
have it.
Yeah,
He's
gonna have like
he's gonna
5
be jacked by the
pallets
time
of
he's done.
deliveries, subwoofer deliveries soon.
Yeah.
James just needs to start eating steroids and moving subwoofers, and then Gene won't be able to crack on him anymore. James will just roll over to Gene's house in Florida and just thump him in the head.
I'm curious. So
I have a question for you guys.
Range.
So
ES350 12-inch. What's that?
This subwoofer has room EQ, right? And there are other ones that have that. One that comes to mind would be like JL Audio, and I'm sure there's many more that I can't even think of. But
Per Listen has their own.
Okay, so personally speaking, I just don't. Somebody convince me why I need a subwoofer that has its own built-in room EQ when I'm going to be running probably something like Dirac or Odyssey or something that also has its room EQ. I just feel like it's redundant and I'm paying for something that I don't need.
Yeah,
that's my take. So y'all convince me otherwise, or just say, you're wrong. I disagree, and that's good enough.
I think you're 100% correct because I had some Martin Logan subwoofer in here, and it had Anthem room correction. Like you Bluetooth to it and yada yada, and you run room correction. I think that's just for people that are in the 2-channel situation.
Yeah, would that be more of a stereo setup? Maybe
that's what it is.
I could see that. I'm just thinking, I'm assuming that most people that are buying subwoofers are probably also going to have, and it's not like 2010 where the basic AVR doesn't really have good auto EQ. Most of them have pretty good auto EQ now, right? I mean, maybe not all of them. You guys are probably more the subject matter experts there than I am. So I'm
scratching over
posing that question to y'all, but
I would like to say that yes, there
have definitely been advancements in the last 12 years, Aaron.
Yeah.
But
I
wouldn't know. I'm still running 5.1.
No, you don't need to be. You
I
don't
know,
need to
man.
be anymore.
Yeah. But I need more speakers now.
Oh, you need more
that's
speakers.
My problem.
Oh, that's right. I got to figure out how to send these.
So yeah, I think it's just for the 2-channel guys, Aaron. To answer your question, I think it's just for the 2-channel guys where their integrated amp doesn't have any room correction, and they perhaps want to try to add a sub. Now, the thing that's always the issue that it just it irritates me. The issue is that this sub has DSP. DSP means latency. And so that if it is for 2-channel, their 2-channel system is not going to be able to delay their main speakers to be aligned in time with the subwoofer. So then you're going to hear the whole, the subs are slow. It is slow. It is slow because
here's the
it's
thing
delayed.
though. So Aaron and I both heard the same setup at Florida Audio Expo. It was a 2-channel setup with dual 10-inch speakers. I think they had their 10s. I think it was a 10.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. The 2 10s, is that what they're
yep.
called? Something like that. Okay.
So those have built-in DSP, and Dan used those to time align the speakers and his subs to that. I don't know, dude. I mean, there wasn't nothing slow about that setup. So
I guess it just depends on what the DSP is, right? And if
Like
it's
what
like
it's
something that
doing.
you can, and can you control it manually? Those kind of questions I'm just curious about.
Yeah, and
DSP typically adds what, 2 milliseconds?
I think more than 2 milliseconds.
I've seen way more than I've seen 5 to 15 on
I'd say
testing,
13 is
like
down average.
anechoic test. Even just not even so much, the EQ, like the auto EQ DSP, but just the latency for it to pass through the amplifier for the compression and limiting features that it needs. It can be 5 to 15 milliseconds.
I'd be curious, like, to ask Dan, you know, what do they do with that? Is there something that, how do they cope with that? Is that an issue? What is the,
well, it cannot, it definitely cannot be zero delay. It's not, you know, any type of processing at all is going to add some sort of delay. Perceivable is a whole different thing, right?
Right. Yeah. How long is 2 milliseconds? You know what I mean? Like,
happens all the
2
time.
feet.
Get it?
2 feet
happens all the time.
but you know what I'm saying?
Like, worth of delay. Yeah.
Can you hear that though? I guess that's
the other thing too is like the
best way.
phase. It's always relative, right? It's the phase relative to your mains. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I would have to know exactly what this thing is doing.
right.
Like, what kind of DSP can I tap into it to change anything? What is the upstream of everything else?
Sure.
It's just stuff like that. Like, it's a lot of, it's kind of like what Joe was saying. When you introduce that, it's introducing another variable.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just have to be conscious of that, I suppose.
Well, it's never going to be perfect if you have a delay. So it's like this. Look, if there's a wave, right? Here's a wave. I'm doing I don't know which direction to go.
A wave,
right? Here's a wave going this way, right? So you want them to go together, right?
Pop and lock.
So if you can't catch the first wave, you have to catch it on the next wave, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to work together, but it is still delayed by a small amount, which means that your main speaker will play, right? If you were to slow it down, and then the sub would play afterwards, and you don't want that. You want them to play together. The whole point of DSP and AVR is to get everything time aligned. Right? That's like one simple thing that you can do. Now with subs, it's always hard to get that perfect, but you want to try to get it perfect. So anyway, if it's 10 milliseconds, 20 milliseconds, 15, this is a lot of time, and it is.
I mean, I'm assuming that these subwoofers are, when they calibrate for the subwoofer only. It's not letting you play the other speakers, and it's not trying to figure out any interaction. It's just subwoofer by itself in the room.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've recommended to these companies before, like, do an RC for 2-channel guys, right? Do an RCA in, and then have RCAs coming out, balanced if you want to be a little higher end, and delay what's coming out, or be able to adjust the delay of what's going out.
Right.
That's real DSP. That's really useful. So somebody will do it. Somebody will do that eventually. Until then, they have to run a mini DSP somewhere in that system. Anyway, what else? What else we got?
We got a couple of smart things over here. Let's see. Arturo's. Oh wait, hold on. Rob had a super chat. $5. Thank you, Rob. Love your content. Y'all hear that the database website might go away?
I haven't heard that.
$30 a month to host, and their foot traffic is so bad they can't even cover it.
Well, that sucks.
I don't even know.
You can't cover $30 a month.
Yeah, that sounds so odd.
It may just be time to let it go. You know, like, I mean, if the speakers are old enough to where it doesn't even matter anymore, And I'm not saying they're all like that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying
Are
like
they
let's
keeping up
assume
with
that
the
right.
new
I think
speakers?
Rishi had quit doing testing. It's been a while now since he's done anything.
Okay.
And
So they
if
may be
that's the
old
case,
data
then
for older subwoofers. Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Don't they
or
have like
anybody,
free online databases though?
I don't know. Well,
Store stuff?
and he has a lot of DIY stuff too. I will say that, and I'm sure a lot of the ABS forum people really appreciate having the DIY stuff tested. But I don't know, man. At some
You would
point, you
almost
just have to
think
let
that-
it go.
Yeah. Or see if you can kind of crowdfund that. You know, I mean, does he
Yeah.
have something on his website that says, hey, look, if you like this, man, consider at least contributing a PayPal or Venmo or something.
All right.
Yeah, I would.
Might
I
be
would
able to at
think he
least
would already have
offset that. I would think he should be able to come up with $30 a month.
Yeah, no, I don't. You know what it probably is.
If it's
I were
a
to guess,
value. And he may be
can't
tired of
afford
doing it.
$30. It's kind of like I'm doing this and it's costing me money, and I don't really
Right.
want to do it. So like, it's just one more thing.
Yeah.
You know,
One more thing
at
he's
least if
gotta
it's covering
think about.
itself, then I'll continue doing it. I'll keep it
Yeah.
up. But
Yeah.
So True Voice says he's getting tired. So I mean, it's just
Yeah, I
he's
don't
been
blame
doing it a
him.
long time, and it's a lot of work.
Probably burn out.
Yeah. And if you're not making significant income on it, it does make it hard. When you're give, and your audience is just saying, give me more. When's the latest data coming out? What about this? And you're like, if they're not getting compensated from it, then it, you know, I could see where he was like, all right,
You sounded
gotta
like
run-
that.
I've
I
kind of
get
run my
it.
course, you know.
You sounded like that
again.
song. Give me a man
whoop.
at midnight.
Oh, dang, dude. Shawna.
ABBA.
I just checked out my latest video. It's 10 out of 10.
Oh,
10
funny.
The 10 worst out of the last 10 videos.
Oh, we got
All right.
another super chat from Ole.
Ole.
I don't know. Thank you so much. Odyssey Multi EQX versus Dirac.
All right. I'll do it real quick.
Okay.
So Dirac. No, this good. Dirac does more. I think it does more when it comes to trying to align the phase within the speaker itself, but also with the other speakers. Odyssey does time alignment, which is aligning it at a single point, but not throughout the entire frequency range. But Multi-QX does allow you to do your own PEQs. So if you were to measure with REW, you'd be able to use that as a filter bank. So you can just consider your Denon or Marantz like a giant mini DSP where you can just plug in as many PEQ settings. It'll convert it to an FIR filter, and boom. Yeah, so it's more like Odyssey gives you a lot of flexibility to do your own manual calibration. But if you're not into that, I would say Dirac is a safer bet than Odyssey. That's it. That's all.
There it is. Atmos matching bed layer. I only have 7 ceilings, so I'm afraid of not having enough separation. Would it be okay to angle in ceiling speakers to go where the Monolith, or go with the Monolith satellites for Atmos? Atmos matching bed layer. Okay. Is this, oh, you only have 7-foot ceilings? This makes a lot more sense if it's a 7-foot ceiling.
Okay. Yes, 7 ceilings.
Yeah, I have 7 ceilings. This is what a
That's
house
lot
is
of ceilings,
this?
bro. It's a bed layer. It's a layered ceiling.
Yeah. Honestly, you know, a lot of these people talk about having separation for Atmos, but in reality, you want coverage and you don't want separation, right? You want a sound that will fill up the room no matter where that sound is in a 3D space. So you do not want separation. There's a lot of these so-called experts out on YouTube and everywhere saying you need separation. What that does is that takes you out of the immersion. Your brain is like, hey, something is wrong here. Why is this sound directly above me right now? You need cohesion. You need to have sounds that will come from the bed layer and move directly up. Anything going sideways, diagonal, when you see a helicopter on a screen and it takes off, it goes straight up. If that sound comes directly above you while the helicopter's still on screen in front of you, your brain knows it's wrong. So separation is this thing that they've talked about so much, but they don't have anything to prove it. They just say They just regurgitate the same thing. You don't need separation. You want cohesion. So in your situation, I think you're probably fine. You got matching bed layers with your height layers and 7-foot ceilings. Cool. I think you're good to go. I have that in here with 8-foot ceiling, and so the Atmos is much better than the Atmos, the Atmos spec that I have upstairs in the living room.
Reverend Slim says that you want. So by the way, it's the Reverend Slim. Get it right. Get it right. Change that name. It says Reverend. Okay. You want both coverage and separation. Ceiling height won't change that. And so I think what he's talking about is, imagine having your left and right stereo speakers like right here. Like there's no separation, right?
Yeah.
You can't tell what's left or right.
It's like what's on your cell phone. It says stereo.
Yeah.
But is it really stereo when the speakers are this far apart?
But then there's also such thing as maybe having the speakers too far apart, and then it breaks the phantom image that's supposed to happen in the middle. Right? They're just too far. So you want something where you're hearing what's on the left and what's on the right, but still be able to get a phantom image. So there's kind of like an in between, and it also depends, like Reverend Slim was also saying, it also depends on the dispersion pattern of your speaker, right? So some are narrow, some are wide, and you're gonna want to have. Basically, let's put it this way: if you were to look at a flashlight, right? So different beam patterns, and if you were to face them at a wall, and the light is spraying out this way, if you have, 3 flashlights, but you want it to kind of look even along the wall, you're going to want to space them out a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you put them too close, all of it's going to focus in one area, too bright. And then there's going to be one area that's dark, not lit up. Okay, that's no good either. So you just want a smooth area, and it's going to depend on your speakers and your room. Yep. And like, what was the original question? 7-foot ceiling? What?
7-foot ceiling, and he has a matching, like, his height channels are above. It's just about the ceiling height, and if there's not going to be enough separation for him to tell what Atmos is happening. If you do have, I would say in that situation, front height, rear height, use those Monolith satellite speakers. In the center, right above you, put in ceilings that are just pointed down. I think you're going to have good enough coverage for that kind of a space.
What else we got here?
Here's Arturo's question.
Okay.
I have a question to the podcast stream panel. What movies are worth waiting for to watch this year?
Man, if I knew.
I don't even know.
I don't even know what's coming out this year. We did get tickets to something. What am I saying? Oh, John Wick 4.
That's right. I know John because I saw it on Venmo.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ain't that weird?
It's so weird. I'm like, Venmo, John Wick 4. I'm like, all right.
Buy your tickets now through Venmo.
No, I saw Michael paid for
something. It'll say, it was like he paid because Joe and I are friends on Venmo. It's like, it tells him what I bought.
Venmo's throwing movie ads to random customers. Hilarious.
You know what? Oh, speaking of that, there was a lady on TikTok. She redesigns logos for companies.
Oh yeah, I've seen her. Yeah.
But she's monotone. She's serious, and it's a spoof. She'll take a great looking logo and she'll make it look like trash. So she does the John Wick logo. She was sponsored by them, basically.
Oh, really?
To make this logo, and she's like, "Yeah, John Wick is really about candles." And she makes the wick, 4 wicks. It's hilarious, man. And then she's like, "What? Oh, it's a movie? Oh, that's not gonna work.
Mission
I guess
Impossible,
their logo's
Dungeons
okay."
and Dragons.
That's hilarious.
That Dungeons and Dragons looks pretty cool.
I haven't even seen that one.
Any Mission Impossible probably going to be pretty cool. If you guys haven't started watching The Last of Us on HBO Max, streaming it, you get it in Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision. Last night's episode, all I got to say was at first I thought Joel was a gangster, and then boom, Ellie comes through. Ellie's the real gangster in that one. Insane, holy crap. Oh yeah, Mandalorian season 3 just started.
Shawna, did you play through those?
Dune 2, somebody's saying.
Dune 2, really? That's coming out this year? Part 2?
I don't know.
And Michael, only a little bit. I haven't played like all the way through. I don't have time.
It's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
Another good show that I'm talking about is Shrinking. I really like that show.
Shrinkage?
Shrinkage? It's not so good.
That's what happens in the wintertime and
You mean now?
in Shawna's area.
and the other show, Chub Up. No. Shrinking is a good show. It's on Apple TV.
Shrinkage and Chub Up. I love it.
Chub Up. Actually, shrinkage is what they call it when.
Oh my god.
It's like
I've never heard the phrase chub up though. That's
I've never heard that in my life, and just like the timing of you saying chub up after we're talking about shrinkage, I'm like, seriously, dude?
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
that's what we do, huh?
That's what you got to do, bro.
That's what you gotta do.
We did that with a $10 super chat from Brian.
Yeah, let's change the subject quickly.
Yeah,
Thank you, Brian. You guys are
bro.
awesome. Look forward to every day. I've got a 924 Sister Brian Denon 85. Oh,
Nice.
HA. Is it worth the upgrade to the?
I wouldn't think so.
No.
Honestly.
No.
Man, you got a great.
you know,
got a great setup, dude.
What about the new Denon? If you really need the extra 2 channels, just get another Denon. The Denon A1H, AH1. What is it? I mean, it's still pricey. It's I mean, shoot me an email. Maybe we can work out some. But I can get you one of those, Brian.
I appreciate the super chat, Brian. And a question I have is, what kind of speakers do you have?
Oh yeah.
Are you already maxing out your speakers? You have great speakers. You love them. They're all matched. Because if not, that might be a good place to spend money too.
Yeah. Or your subwoofers.
So it'd be a manual calibration.
Well, he's got.
Yeah.
So you got 2 subwoofers currently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I
think it's gonna be more of a lateral move, honestly, Brian.
Oh, Focal 100 in walls. Okay, those are not the hardest to run.
He's got an SVS SB 3000s. So he's got 2 of those.
Where is it?
Yeah, SB 3000.
Fred's got an AV10. He's got a couple.
AVR A1H. Yeah, the new Denon has all that. If you know what, if you really, I think if people want to like start moving towards separates and you have an AVR with pre-outs, you should start buying the amplifiers like ahead of time, just to kind of offset the financial costs, because it is pretty big.
I think that's kind of a natural transition. You buy the AVR and you're like, man, I wonder what would amp would, how would that impact it? So then you kind of buy those, or at least buy some of it, and then you head towards, processor, and then if you need more additional amplifiers, then you buy those. So I think that's a good transition.
Yeah, no problem, Brian.
What'd you say here, Aaron? Just referring to that one or a different question?
Yeah, this is for High Finest super chat. Thank you for the super chat, High Finest. There it is.
Yeah, I think the KEF T301, I'd have to Google it real fast. I think those are like their own walls. So I would just generally say don't go with those. Oh, that the floor standing, the skinny floor standing. Yeah, don't get those. So between the 2 KEFs, I would say the CI4 100QL. But then I was saying the Monolith THX, I've seen Amiris tested those, and I know a few people have commented that they own those and they like them a lot.
Your buddy Ike.
Ike has them.
That's what I was saying. Ike has them. And Ike seems to like them, so
so definitely don't get them. I thought.
And then the
definitely not if Ike likes them.
The dual 3000 in walls. If you're talking about the SVS, that is a CI only, so you're gonna have to have a custom integrator come and install those. That you can't do that yourself. So just so you know, that's what happens. That's what.
Yeah, those just came out, didn't they?
Yes. They debuted those. I think CD or something.
Man, busting you, bro.
He's right.
Any other questions?
Proson's always got the
we got this one. Hey guys, I just purchased a second PB3000. I'm going to use mini DSP, but just wondering, should I run Wipeout after I set my subs with mini DSP?
I'll let Paul handle that one. Just kidding.
Why? What happened?
Paul.
No. He's a Wipeout guy.
He's the Wipeout guy. I don't know what Yapo is, though. That
Wipeout
might be a new thing. Yeah.
Why? It's
Yapo.
It's misspelled. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yapo.
what are you saying Yapo for, bro? I'm
You're
like,
like,
can
you're
you
an
not
idiot,
read?
dude.
And then it was clearly I couldn't read.
what?
Yapo. Should use Yeah, I think it's a good idea. So 2 PB3000s, you're going to want to use the mini DSP to kind of get them working together. and then you use wipeout afterwards, it's going to see it as a single sub, I think. I don't know if it has, if you have dual subs, or I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming it sees it as a single sub. And what you want wipeout to do, hopefully, is you want it to take that, what it sees as a single sub and level match it to the other ones and time align the other speakers to that sub, even though you have two.
Here, Paul chimes in. I run wipeout without the subs connected, then run mini DSP, and then turn on the crossover in the Yamaha. There you go. Finicky Yamahas. You got to do all these finger gymnastics.
Finger gymnastics.
That's a quote from Joe. Hey, from Fresh Hater Jay, actually. Victor, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, again, Youthman and Company. Any real tangible benefit for spending the extra $1,000 going with the Denon 4800 over 3800 aside from wattage? Thanks again.
What are the differences between those two?
So, I mean, there really isn't much of a difference other than wattage. And then the one other thing is I heard, it needs to be confirmed, that the 4800 is also made in Japan.
Okay.
Along with the 6700 and all the higher.
I don't think my 4800 was in Japan. I don't know. Well, I had a 4700.
You have a 4700.
Yeah. Okay, so that's different.
Somebody told me that the newer ones are. What happened between the 3700, 4700, and then the new ones 38 and 48 is that the one thing that was different between the two is that the 48 or the 4700 had Oro 3D, the 3700 did not. And then in this round, they added Oro 3D to the 3800. So now it doesn't really seem like there's any point into getting the 4800, other than the fact that if it is made in Japan, you buy the one you like that. You like that kind of thing. My receiver is Japanese. Okay. Yeah. You want to be able to say that? Cool. Go with the 4800. Because I have the 3800 upstairs, and I was thinking about it, getting the 4800 just to actually just make another video or whatever. And looking over the specs and stuff, I'm like, oh, this is not really that much different. Oh, yeah. You know what it could be? One trigger output versus two trigger outputs. So that could be one of the things too. Let me just double check. I think that is.
I remember seeing the two and thinking, man, they did a little too much on this X3800H. It's going to be hard to sell that 4800.
Yeah. Audio advice. Why are you? Okay. One trigger output on the 3800. And I'm pretty sure this 4800 has two. The Denon.
Extra wattage. Yeah. I was actually going to go out and buy like the least expensive AVR I could find, which would probably be
like brand new one or like used or something.
Like go to Best Buy and find the least expensive one to see what I could do with it.
Something like a 5.1.
5.1 probably. Yeah, probably going to be Sony, right?
Yeah.
Sony or yeah.
And if they try to run.
Yeah, I guess they still have.
God damn it.
I just want to know how bad it is.
Why would you want to waste your money on something that you know is going to be bad?
So I can.
Because he wants to make it good.
Just for fun.
He wants to make it good. He wants to.
If I can make it good, because almost always it's always about the room correction is not good.
Well, the other big thing, honestly, is power supply and Sony's have always been trash. Like there is no power in those jokers at all.
Oh,
now the new ones maybe. I mean, they're like $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000. So I would hope they got a big, massive power supply.
Wrong here.
But that was the biggest complaint with Sony for me. They just, even with efficient speakers, they just they start distorting really early on because the amp just gives out.
I mean, even with subs, even if I'm wondering. That's what I'm kind of curious about.
Okay, here it is. The difference between I was right, sort of. They added 3 trigger outputs on the 4800. You only get 1 trigger output with the 3800. So
that's easy though.
Like as long as your amplifier has a loop, a trigger in out like the Parasounds do, then then it's fine.
Or they make trigger splitters too. So
they do. I mean, it's just a mono 3.5 millimeter cable. You know what's funny though? The A52 Plus, the cheaper one, has the in and out, whereas the A51 only has an in. It only has an innie. It's nice.
Look at it. Look what I'm running on here.
What is it?
Just
DSP
approval
counter?
point. No. Whoops.
What is this? What is it?
This is the little tiny Fosse Audio 4-channel amp that I'm using in the living room. This little Class D amp. Look at that little thing.
Mm-hmm.
It plays
cute.
loud enough.
Yeah.
I'm running, I was doing those test tones that we have, Shawna,
Yeah.
to see how low it'll go, right?
Hello.
So it goes down to 16 hertz, right? So we're playing, bass. I'm playing full range content through this. At no point am I hearing like, oh, what an underpowered amp. So I'm having a hard time understanding the requirement for so much power that everybody wants. Maybe if you have a huge theater, I don't know what people are listening to or what volume are they listening at where they need so much power.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure the 3800H is going to be more powerful than that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even I don't know. Don't you think that even the Sony, that cheap, whatever, $200 Sony AVR, I would expect it to have more power than that thing? What do you think? There's an Apple TV for size comparison.
Here's an Apple TV for size comparison.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying though? Like it's a Class D, maybe that would make a difference, but I don't know. I'm just kind of confused as to why everybody's so hung up on wattage.
Yeah, I don't know. One says that the 3800 has sub outs in parallel, whereas it's independent on the other ones. But even the 3800 has 4 subwoofer outputs, and you can have it set up as normal or that taking bass or playing the bass from the closest speaker or whatever they're calling it. I don't know what they call it, but that's what it's supposed to do.
You guys are horrible in the comments. Or
Croson killing it, man. Gosh.
Oh, is he?
it's hard to not gonna say anything.
Music Jewel. Appreciate
Music
the
Jewel,
super
thank
chat.
you for the super chat. Wow.
Do you have a question?
You have a question?
No, it's
You
not
go with
cool.
that?
I mean, here. Find the cheapest with Atmos. No, that's just talking about your receiver.
He does. At question, what in-ceiling speakers would you recommend for whole house audio? And is it possible to use the same speakers for Atmos and my whole house amp? So that's a few posts down from his super chat.
Oh.
About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6
okay.
or 7,
There it is.
maybe. There you go.
There it is. I'm using a whole home amplifier right here in the studio because it's 16 channel by 50 and then 16 channel by 80 into 4 ohms. So you can use whatever amp you want. It's just a matter of do you want the Atmos in ceilings? He doesn't want the Atmos in ceilings for the whole home, does he?
What in-ceiling speakers would you recommend for whole house audio? Is it possible to use the same speakers for Atmos?
Oh, okay. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so I think he just wants to buy a bunch of speakers.
Yeah.
And put those in. And I'm assuming you're talking about, okay, one's going to be maybe in your theater space, whether it's a living room or a dedicated room, but then also use those same speakers throughout the house as your in ceiling. So yeah, I mean, a good speaker is a good speaker. So if you buy a good speaker for Atmos, I mean, there's not a in-ceiling speaker that makes it an Atmos speaker,
right? But you know what? There is the dispersion. If one is just for whole home audio, the ones I set up, I would recommend just a downward firing in ceiling. Whereas if you're going to do Atmos in the Atmos spec with in ceilings, you need to have something that's aimable.
Aimable, right?
So,
but still, what I'm saying is okay, even if it's aimable, you could still use that same speaker in a living room setup and aim it wherever your couch is. Or aim it towards your kitchen. If you couldn't put it directly above your kitchen.
Sure.
Maybe it's above your bar and you want to count. So
I guess it just depends, right?
Yeah. I think if you find a good speaker that you like, and the key thing is find something that you enjoy the sound of. The hard thing is it's kind of difficult to go and listen to a bunch of different in-ceiling speakers. A lot of places don't carry those. And of course, in my area, we don't even have a lot of dealers, like showrooms, I guess, to be able to demo this stuff. So that makes it difficult. So, but yeah, I think you can absolutely use the same speakers in your whole house audio as you can for your theater area.
Michael,
Mhm.
I had one of my clients,
Yeah.
I think a patron of ours,
Mhm.
said that you talked about subwoofers and that 18-inch subs are the minimum. Is something I think he said something like that. That you said
So
that.
yeah,
I didn't watch that one, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious because
So-
it's like, do I need 18s? And this guy will buy,
right. Yeah.
he can buy them easily, right?
Yes.
But I'm like,
So-
oh, Michael.
Answer is yes.
So, all right. So here's the context behind that.
Okay.
In my room, I've reviewed several sealed subwoofers, 10 or not 10-inch, probably 12-inch. I even reviewed some 16s, like a pair of them.
Mhm.
And to me, for home theater, for music, I love them. They were fine because they didn't have to go crazy and they just fill in the bottom octaves. So that's fine. But for movies, it didn't provide enough output for me. Now, that doesn't mean for everybody. So what I was saying is it wasn't until I went to larger than 15 and multiple of those that I had enough output and pressurization of my room that I'd be willing to move from a ported sub to a sealed sub. So that was the context behind that.
I see. So you're talking about specifically for sealed.
Yes, we were looking at sealed versus ported because ported is going to give you more output typically, at least down to, I guess, the port tuning, I think is what they refer to it. But that
So
was
what
just
would
me.
you say in a room that's let's say I would like to say 13 by 16, somewhere around there.
So that's
13 by 6.
effectively the size of my room.
Okay.
Mine's 13 by 19.
Okay. So, I guess medium, I think it's kind of small, medium, whatever.
Yeah, right. I'd consider it a medium-sized room.
Medium, okay.
Yeah.
And somebody who has 4 SVS SB 2000s, I want to say, I think 2000s, not 3000s, but they're all kind of similar, right?
Sure.
4 SB 2000s
Yeah.
in each corner.
Right.
And
4
then
in each
dialed
corner?
in.
So
one in each corner.
Yeah, I was
4
like, that
total.
would be a killer.
Yeah,
So,
that's a stack.
Yeah.
So,
So I've never had 4 subwoofers in my room. I've always had 2. So I've had 2 of the SB 3000s. Had 2 of the SB 16s. Trying to think if any other brand has sent me sealed.
I think it's important to say though, do you usually place them where your subs currently are, like at the front of the room and the 2/3 on the 1/3 and the 2/3 spot?
So they've been in different places in my setup. So sometimes I'll have them off to basically. So part of it, I have to put my subs into my room because I've got the cabinet. I'm not taking all my stuff down and putting it up there.
Yeah.
So usually they'll either go in the front left and front right of my room. Sometimes I'll put one in, say, the front right, and I'll put it in the rear room. So it just really depends. I mean, I don't have like a set standard. So, and my room's not ideal because I don't have the ability to utilize the entire room. I can't use the very front corners of my room because my cabinet's there.
Yeah, it's just that you've heard some pretty crazy setups, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, in my mind, for most listening levels, even up to if you're crazy enough to listen at reference level, I think 4 SB 2000s can get you to that level.
He doesn't on the weekdays.
Right?
Weekends, it's reference level.
It depends on if Jessica's here or not. She's not here. Crank it up.
RLW, reference level weekend.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just imagine 4 of those subs, 1 in each corner, dialed in, is going to give you enough bass.
Yeah. Because those are what? Are they 12s? So you'd have 4 12s?
4 12s.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's going to be.
And I don't know what the surface area of that would be compared to like 2 18s, and how much pressure that they would, you know what I'm saying?
I would think.
I would almost think 4
similar?
12s would be, I don't know. It might not be bigger than 2 18s.
No, I'm not saying it's bigger. I'm saying similar.
Right. I don't know. I'm totally guessing on that.
See, I don't know. I haven't rocked 2 18s, but You
I
know?
love it. I'll be honest with you, man. And every time, and I guess what I also shared is, I went from 10-inch Velodyne to a 15-inch Velodyne, and I was like, holy cow. Like, that's amazing, man. Then I went from 115 to 215s. That was cool, but I mean, you're just adding a little bit of extra SPL. It's not a major difference.
Mhm.
Then I went to 415s, a totally different brand. Again, just a little bit more SPL, but pretty much the same measurement.
Mhm.
But then when I went to 18s, it was a whole different world, because partly I'm now digging down to low end extension that I've never experienced in my life. With my Klipsch, I was down to 20 hertz, and that's it. I mean, it dropped like a cliff, boom, straight down.
Mhm.
So now I'm experiencing down not to 20 hertz, but I'm down to 5. And so it's a whole different world to
Yeah.
me. So, and that's hard to do with a 12-inch sub.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm of the mindset,
that's
below
where-
16 hertz. So, you can
Yeah.
get 16 hertz pretty decently with some.
Yeah, you
SVS.
should be able to. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
16 hertz, right? So what's the difference between, let's say, 16 hertz and 8 hertz, right?
Hertz.
How much content is there?
Yeah.
And also, for that deep of a bass, it's all tactile, and it's almost like
you're
at that
feeling
point, why wouldn't I just rather go with something like a tactile transducer
Mhm.
to produce
100%.
those super
Sure.
low frequencies?
Absolutely a great option. So if you want to take those low frequencies and kind of supplement that in your theater by using some tactile transducers, absolutely. That'd be a great combo.
Mm-hmm.
So 100%.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you really believed that, in certain rooms, in an ideal room where you could, because the corner placement's a big difference between corner placement and like mid wall placement is a huge difference in output.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not willing to switch that, because I'll collapse my sound stage if I don't have my left and right as far out as I can, because my room's only 13 feet wide and I'm sitting 9 feet from it. And most people will tell you, they're like, normally I would recommend putting your mains outside of your screen. But because I sit so close, they're like, honestly, you're good to go.
Yeah.
That's a great placement for them. But if I were to put them inside that and put my subs on the outside, wouldn't work.
I was just wondering if you've ever experienced a home theater system where they did have a setup like that.
Yeah.
Because you've been to so many,
I have.
right? Where it was a similar size room, corner loaded, with that type of configuration with the SVS.
I can't recall
thinking man, I wish it had more bass.
Yeah, well, there's quite a few that I wish that, but
yeah, I know.
Again,
I know you say it right away too. I wish I had more bass. So
I mean, think about it. I went to $1 million home theater, phenomenal home theater, and it had 2 subwoofers, and these are big bad boy subwoofers. But to me, I felt it a little bit, but I mean, I really want to feel the impact. I mean, and here's my thought: if I were in an environment where there was that, let's say there's an explosion that happens on screen, maybe a tank blows up, like completely explodes. Are you just going to hear that if you were that distance from the tank? Or are you going to feel that blast? I mean, you're going to feel some, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to replicate inside a home theater. And that's what I would love to do. So if I can feel that, and that's where those tactile transducers would come in, you would feel that. I mean, it would vibrate your body, it would vibrate whatever you're sitting on, whether it's a theater seat or a couch. So absolutely, that would help too. So I don't know, but and the further it's kind of like one of these things, but I've just never gone back. Every time I went up to a bigger subwoofer, I'm like, I want to go back. I reviewed some 12-inch, and I'm like, they just don't hit the same way. They don't hit as low. They don't have as much impact. But that's just me. And the great thing is you got to figure out what works for you. And some people, they don't want a whole lot of bass. They don't want to be impacted as much, and that's okay.
What's too much bass for you?
I can tell you, I've done a couple of home theater tours, and even at Mway, we did some home theater tours with the VIPs, and one of the gentlemen, he prefaces it. He goes, I normally don't listen to it. I normally don't boost it this much or listen to it like this, but so it's going to be insane. And oh my gosh, it was a roller coaster, and it's a fun demo, but there were plenty of people going, hey, can we like maybe try that at what you normally listen to it as? Because he had 818s up front. I think he had like 12 12s for like I'm serious, man. It was nuts. He has a 12-inch subwoofer for near field attached to the back of the seat. Like it's on a piece of plywood and attached. So you got tactile transducers there. On top of that, you're sitting on a Boss platform. So
yeah, I remember that one.
The whole dang couch is doing this. I mean, your teeth are rattling. Honestly, that's too much because in my brain, I'm going, all you can focus on is that. I mean, like I said, it was fun, but the reality is, to me, properly tuned, properly integrated bass, deep bass, hard bass, that's where it's at. You don't want anything in your system to be overbearing, whether it's Atmos or anything.
I think a lot of these guys are just joking. Like, there's never too much bass.
You can,
that's kind of a fun thing that we say. Like, yeah, it's always want more, right? But at a certain point, it's really not practical, and you don't want to listen to that that
and
on a regular basis.
To me, the key is calibration, getting it dialed in, getting it balanced. Now, when I say balance, of course, I boost my bass. Okay, so I'm probably running 6 dB hot. There are guys that run 20 dB hot. You know, that's a preference there.
Yeah.
So my bass isn't overly boomy by any means, but
I don't think it's hot at all. I think
I don't
going
like
to 60, I think you're at
normal. I don't like a flat frequency response. That's like anemic to me in the bass department. So I definitely have a house curve. But yeah, so again, you got to listen to it and figure out what's enough for you. And I think everybody's not tolerance, but everybody's taste for bass is going to be different. Some people say, man, my 210s rock my house. That's awesome. You know,
taste for bass.
Yeah.
Taste for bass.
I mean, nice t-shirt.
All right.
I got a taste.
Aaron's getting he's getting all these ideas for his merch.
We got another super chat here by Danny. Danny, $10. Thank you so much.
What's up, dude?
Very nice review on the AV10. Good to see you, gents. Which might be better, AV10 or Anthem AVM 90? Now, there's a bunch of comments about, the AV10 being overpriced, and, especially when there's an AVM 70, AVM 90. I totally agree. It is expensive, right? Now, the AVM 90 is $500 more, and the one thing I like about Anthem is the Anthem room correction, Arc Genesis. Aaron, hopefully you'll be well versed in that shortly.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll see.
Who else is that? Who's?
But the one thing that I don't like is that they don't have Oro 3D support. And it, to me, you're spending like $7,000, $8,000, $7,500 on something. I want all formats. I want them all. I'm spending that much money. I want them all. So for me, that's my main thing I don't like. And the other thing I don't like is the on-screen display. I don't know if they've changed it from the MRX 720, but I just, while you guys were talking, I was looking at all the AVM 90 videos, and they're all going through the web app to control this thing. And like, same thing with the RCam. And I don't know about the JBL synthesis, but they're all on the same platform. So, they have a lot of, their user interface on their on-screen display leaves a lot to be desired. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't know, whatever. That's what I don't like. So there you go. Yes, let's do it. And if you guys are ready to jump into the after show, go to patreon.com/daily HiFi. And we will see you there in just a few minutes.
Thank you guys.
Dude, I'm loving your comments.
Thank you for all the questions and the super chats and all that.
Thank you for all the laughs tonight, man. That was funny.
Yeah. We need that.
Reverend Slim said Croson turns up the bass until he can no longer hear the coil whine from his Yamaha. Well, that's cracked up, man.
You should have seen his acronym for YPOW earlier. Did you see that? Y'all probably hating because my shit sounds better than you or something, something like that. And if you guys like to listen to podcasts, go to anchor.fm/daily HiFi to listen to the audio version only.
Yeah.
And we will thank you guys so much for hanging out. On behalf of myself, Michael, Aaron, and Joe, everyone, we'll see you next week. And for the after show, we'll see you in